Alright, what is up, guys? Steeler Dude 11 here. Just got done watching that Michigan game with my buddy Ethan right here. You know him as Player1Gaming. Alright, so we watched that game going into it with kind of expecting a blowout a little bit, but
it was a blowout initially.
It was, but it didn't turn out that way. Alright, they scored like 25 points, which that's pretty embarrassing.
18 of it was scored in the third quarter.
Yes, it was, and oh my god, dude, we were so mad.
Yeah, going into halftime, like right before halftime, they scored a touchdown. We were like, oh, well, but we'll be fine.
Yeah,
like it was, whatever. We can allow 7 points, and all of a sudden, we can't do anything, and then we get a couple of lucky breaks and are able to score. That last touchdown we had was really like it was lucky. We were lucky to have it.
Yeah, we were lucky to have that one, but still. How do you say best defense in the NFL? Or
NFL.
I didn't mean to say NFL. I meant to say college football. And you let Illinois score 25 points on you when they lost to Eastern Michigan and let Connecticut score 23 against them. Oh my god. The offense is terrible again.
They were doing great. They were up 28-0. And then by the end of the third quarter, it's 28-25.
I know, man. It's just, I don't understand what is with this offense. We need to get a quarterback that knows what he's doing.
I mean, he had a few good passes, but overall he was inaccurate, like he usually is.
I know, like.
And then we have receivers dropping balls. Our defense is just falling asleep in the third quarter, and then they finally woke up in the fourth and completely shut them down again. It was weird. We went from being up 28 points, then we were only up by 3. Then all of a sudden we were down by. All of a sudden we were up 17 again.
It's because that's what happens when they actually try.
It's a weird up and down experience.
You know, it's just. I woke up this morning thinking it was going to be a blowout. I mean, in a way, it kind of was, but. I mean, I told Ethan, I said, you know, if we score at least 40, I'll be happy. But if they score it like double digits, then I'm not going to be happy.
There was no reason why they should have scored double digits.
Michigan won 42-25. Even though they were winning 28-0 at one point, then they let Illinois score 25 unanswered.
After we scored our 4th touchdown, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be easy. We've got this."
The third quarter of that game was the most stressful quarter of Michigan football, one of the most I've ever seen. Like, Jesus, we're just sitting here like, oh, my God, can we do something? The fourth quarter comes along, the minute they start doing something.
I don't know. The Iowa game last week was, I think, more stressful for me. Because it was like that the entire game.
Yeah,
at least
right.
with this game, it was only like the third quarter.
Yeah, I
mean, going into halftime, I wasn't worried at all.
Because for some reason, in the second half, Michigan decided to stop running. And that was what was working in the first half. I mean, they had like 200 yards rushing going into halftime, and over 300 yards total going into halftime. And then they only had like 6 total yards, and it was almost the end of the third.
We had 2 rushing yards in the third quarter.
Only 2. And we had over 200 in the first half, and Michigan just decided to start throwing it, which Patterson is starting to show he can't do anymore. I mean, every time he throws the ball, it's either overthrown, underthrown, or if it is good, then they don't catch it.
Yeah, receivers drop the ball too much. Peoples-Jones got hurt. He came back in, but he got hurt.
And Eubanks got hurt.
I was like, what's next, Ronnie Bell?
He didn't get hurt, though.
I know.
And then it's just... I don't want to see a Michigan game like that again, but I know I'm going to. Next week's going to be a blowout. Notre Dame's going to be a blowout. Ohio State's going to be a blowout. I don't see any way how we're going to win those games if we're going to keep playing like we have been. Like, how do you expect to beat Penn State if you let Illinois score 25 against you? I mean, yeah, they did score 42, but still.
We'll be watching that Penn State-Iowa game because I want to see how well they do.
Yeah, that'll be on in like 3 hours.
I want to see how good Penn State does compared to how we did against Iowa.
I know.
I'm interested to.
And then, and I knew this was gonna. I mean, I thought even at halftime we thought this was still gonna be an easy game because it was 28-7. And then once we got into the third quarter, then Illinois just started playing like their best football in like 10 decades or something. And then Michigan's acting like their 2008 team again when they went 3-9. So
Well,
anyway,
we're definitely not that, but
not that.
we're a lot better than that. But we're definitely not good enough to compete with a lot of teams.
I just want to know, where is this high-powered offense that we were expected to see going into this season?
Yeah.
We got all this stuff from spring training until that first game against Middle Tennessee. Oh my God, Michigan's be so good. They're gonna score like 40 points a game. They're gonna go to the Big Ten, win the Big Ten, maybe go to the college football playoffs. We're like, yeah, it's so great, and no. Almost lose to Army, get blown out by Wisconsin, and then you play like this against Illinois. Last week was a scare because it could only score 10 points against Iowa.
I was happy with the game last week.
I was happy with the game too because Iowa's a good team.
I know, and I wasn't really happy with the offense, but I was happy with the defense.
I mean,
they had 3 picks in that game.
8 sacks, 3 interceptions. You can't beat that, but
if you lose with that, then you don't deserve to win.
No.
But after the game last week, I was like, by the way, our defense played last week. There's no way Illinois scores more than 3. And if they do, whatever, they'll score 1 touchdown or something.
They scored more than 3 points. They basically times 8'd it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say that. I think it's like octuplet or something. But anyway, so this game was terrible. I mean, in a way, it was terrible. Third quarter, it was a terrible team. You know,
third quarter was the worst.
I know.
Fourth quarter was okay.
The first and second quarter were amazing.
Well, the fourth quarter, when we finally took control again. That's how it should have been in the third quarter. Scoring twice. We scored twice in the fourth quarter. We should have scored twice in the third.
I know. Then we would have had 56.
56.
And of course,
imagine the final score was 56-25.
That's kind of weird.
That'd be weird.
And then, of course, they decide to send Nordine out there for a field goal. And when he
I
missed
don't understand it.
And then when he missed it, we weren't surprised.
I wasn't surprised at all. I was sitting there drinking my pop, and I was like, oh, he missed?
Oh my God!
Shocker!
No, you said, what is he gonna do? Miss a wide left? I said no, wide right. It was only 34 yards.
I know they could have put Jake Moody out there,
but nah.
I know I know Jake Moody missed a close one last week, but he's still better than Quinn Nordine. I trust him more than Quinn Nordine.
Nordine hasn't made a field goal yet this year.
He can only make extra points, and you can't make the NFL.
I mean, because when he went up to kick, the announcer said he's 0-2, but in his defense, both of those field goals were 50+ yards. That was a 34-yard field goal, and he missed it wide right. I mean,
not surprised.
Granted, there was a lot of wind, but he's a kicker at college. He should know how to deal with that.
The wind was at his back, wasn't it?
No, it was blowing to the right. That's kind of why it went wide right. But you got to give it a little hook to the left so it'll blow over to the right and go in the uprights. But no, he decides not to do that because you know why? Because he's Quinn Nordine.
Mm-hmm. It's Quinn Nordine.
Thank you, Harbaugh, for staying the night over at his house to try to recruit him so he doesn't go to Penn State. This game next week is going to look like the 2017 game against Penn State. I already know. And the thing that sucks is that it's at 7:30, so I have to wait all day for the game even though I know that they're going to lose. It's just a waste of time. If Michigan somehow wins this game, I'm actually going to be very surprised.
I feel like I'm going to watch the game next week, but I feel like I'm going to stop by the end of the first.
Yeah.
I'll stop watching by the end of the first quarter. They'll be up 21-0.
I know, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Penn State's whiteout game because they always schedule it against Michigan. Yeah. And then
so they got 2 night games in a 2-week period. Because they got at Iowa tonight.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Michigan.
No.
Well, who's ever at home decides what time the game is going to start.
We may play at night against Notre Dame, so then that would be 2 weeks of night games as well.
Yeah.
Who knows? I don't know if they'll schedule Notre Dame as the night game.
Michigan already had a night game. Usually Michigan has about 2 night games at home. They already had 1 this year, and that was against Middle Tennessee. The night game is either going to be Notre Dame or Michigan State. Ohio State's already scheduled for noon. Yeah. Maryland is already scheduled for noon. That's all we know so far. Next week is Penn State at 7:30.
What about Indiana?
Not yet. We probably won't know until the week before.
Do we play them at home or no?
It's at Indiana.
Oh, okay. Well,
last year it was at Michigan, but of course every year Michigan plays Indiana. It's always stressful. I'm pretty sure it's going to be like that this year. Like last time we played it in Indiana, went to overtime. And I don't know about this team, man. I had such high hopes for this team going into this season.
It's so hard to say sometimes. especially after today. I was just like, okay, now where are we now?
I know.
Because if we would have allowed them to only score like 7 points, we'd have a pretty darn good idea. We're like, okay, we got a good defense. Our offense is getting better.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
And
Them scoring 18 points in the third quarter really shows we can't fully trust our
then
defense.
Harbaugh and Patterson are both saying, well, Harbaugh says our offense is about to explode. You just wait. And then Patterson's defending Harbaugh, saying it just needs some time. Well, you had like 5 months to practice. Four months
we
from
are in
April.
week 7.
Yes,
Week 7.
From April in the spring game, you had April, May, June, July, and August. That's 5 months before the Middle Tennessee game. You had 5 months.
And then they said it was going to improve throughout the season.
And you
it hasn't
still
really.
need more time. And we're already in October, and we haven't seen this great offense. The only time I've really seen this was against Rutgers last week, or 2 weeks ago. You can't have an explosive offense if you only score 10 points against Iowa.
I am out of frame.
Oh, you are? I'm sorry. Michigan's finishing 8-4 this year. We're not going to beat maybe 7-5.
8-4 does seem like it could happen.
Maybe 7-5 if Michigan loses to Michigan State. But last time we checked, Michigan State was losing 14-0 to Wisconsin, which is exactly how the Wisconsin-Michigan game went this year.
Right now, actually.
So basically,
17-0.
all right, now it's 17-0 now. I'm done with this team already. I mean, I was just talking to Ethan yesterday saying our defense has finally gotten better, but then today we let Illinois score 25. And of course,
and they didn't even have their first string quarterback.
And the fumbles continue.
Yes. It plagued us again in the third quarter. We dropped the ball twice.
Patterson finally had a game without a turnover by himself. All of our turnovers have been fumbles by the running backs. One was by Charbonnet. Another one was by Christian Turner, I believe it was. Or actually, no, he was down. We thought it was a fumble, but they called him down.
They still ended up calling a fumble, though.
And then Illinois fumbles, and Michigan gets it back at like the 20-yard line, at Illinois' 20-yard line, and they can't score.
Yeah, I don't get it. But then on the next drive we scored. We went all the way.
I know.
It's so up and down that you don't know what's going to happen.
I don't know why Gaddis decided to stop running, even though it was obviously working in the first half. We had over 200 rushing yards total by the time we got to halftime.
We scored when we scored our first touchdown, we hadn't thrown the ball yet. It's because we didn't need to.
I know the first drive, Michigan did not throw it at all, and when they scored. And Michigan literally had one drive where they scored in only 4 seconds because of that blocked punt by what's his name, like Glasgow?
Jordan Glasgow.
Jordan Glasgow blocked that punt. Of course, the Illinois punter couldn't punt. I mean, he had a couple good ones, but most of them barely went in the air.
He had that one though. It didn't seem like it go very far, and then it bounced all the way to the one.
Yeah, that was a lucky bounce. So it went all the way to the 1-yard line. But Michigan still went far anyway on that. They went all the way to the 50.
We went past midfield on that drive, and then we got stopped.
We need to see some improvement with this team. I mean, you got Penn State.
There's always improvement.
So here's what's left. We got at Penn State, then it's Notre Dame. Then it's at Maryland, then it's a bye week, then it's at home against Michigan State, then it's at Indiana, then finally it's at home against Ohio State, which Ohio State is number 3 right now. And they're going to be number 3 because Georgia just lost today, so they're going to go down a lot.
At least we're not Georgia.
I thought it was kind of stupid that both Georgia and Ohio State were number 3 because I knew Ohio State was obviously the better team.
Oh, yeah. You could argue that they're the best.
I mean, of course, you could say Ohio State hasn't really played anyone yet. I mean, the best team they've played
it doesn't matter.
So far was Michigan State.
The way they've dominated everybody. I mean, the way they ran all over that Michigan State defense. The one that everyone says is amazing.
I know. Michigan State has a good defense, and they scored 34. Yeah. So
I think
Ohio State is going to the playoffs.
I think we'll get a good idea of who's better once Ohio State and Wisconsin play. I think that's going to be a good game.
When is that game?
I don't know.
I think it's 2 weeks from now, isn't it? I think it's the week Michigan plays Maryland or Notre Dame. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, so, I don't know. Ohio State's obviously going to the playoffs. If
Oh,
they
yeah.
if they finish 12-0, I'm not going to be
Oh
surprised.
yeah. Oh yeah. Justin Fields.
Justin Fields is
He's
a great
got
transfer.
He's got to be, along with Jalen Hurts and Jonathan Taylor. He's got to be up there.
Joe Burrow is pretty good too.
Yeah, they got
Joe Burrow already has 1,800 passing yards this season,
They've got to be up there with the Heismans.
and
Seriously, I
Justin-
think Jalen Hurts is going to be the one that wins it.
I
but
honestly
still.
think Georgia was stupid because, like they said, Justin Fields like the best quarterback of his class, actually the best athlete of his class, and Georgia didn't want to play him. So he's like, you know what, I'll just go to a team that does want to play him. So he goes to Ohio State, and look how good he has been for Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's their record right now? Like 6-0 or
Yes,
yeah,
they're
they're
6-0.
6-0. They're 6-0. They don't.
They're on a bye
They're
week.
not playing this week.
They're on a well-deserved bye week.
They're playing next week Friday against Northwestern, which going to the season, people are like, that could be the upset, but Northwestern has not looked as good.
People said that about Nebraska.
Nebraska, oh my God. Nebraska, oh my God, such great recruiting. Adrian Martinez is going to be great. They even ranked him number 24 at the beginning of the season, and they got blown out by Ohio State. It was 48-7 at the end. Barely beat South Alabama. They barely beat Illinois. They did destroy Northern Illinois, though. But who cares? It's Northern Illinois.
No one cares about that. It's like Notre Dame beating Bowling Green. What does it matter?
What does it matter?
It doesn't matter at all.
Notre Dame plays USC tonight. I'm pretty sure Notre Dame's going to win that game.
Well, look at now we're just going on other games. We're not even talking about Michigan anymore.
I honestly thought that Michigan game was going to be a blowout. Illinois, they did destroy Akron going into the game.
It technically
the season.
Technically was a blowout, but it doesn't feel.
But not
like
as
it.
big. We thought Illinois was only going to score once, like a field goal or a touchdown. Like we thought they would score maybe a garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, with our backups in.
And then you go like in Illinois, who let Connecticut score 24 on them, and then they lost to Eastern Michigan, and then they got destroyed by Minnesota last week.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Peters
40-17.
Brandon Peters didn't even play in this game. He was out with a concussion. And still, Illinois looked like they had a chance to beat Michigan until the fourth quarter. Of course, in the first half, Illinois punted the ball 8 or 9 times. And then they scored that last drive before halftime. And then we're like, all right, we're going to go with the second half. Then they go and score 25 unanswered. Be only down by 3, but then Michigan comes away with it at the end. So this was a terrible performance by Michigan today.
Imagine, though, that Illinois did that in the first half of the game. What they did in the third quarter. Imagine they were up 25-0. How could we have ever come back from that?
I don't know, man.
There would be no way. It was a good thing we were already up huge.
Yeah, I know.
Because technically their scores were in garbage time. Not really, because they had plenty of time, but even when they were only down by 3, but still.
I think Gaddis has been overrated so far. Josh Gaddis is for offensive coordinator. People going into the season acting like he's going to be awesome. One of the best offensive coordinators Michigan's ever had, ever. And so far, no, he hasn't been. I mean, a lot got destroyed by Wisconsin. Yeah,
it sucks.
Barely
sometimes.
beat Army. I mean, they could have scored more against Middle Tennessee. They did great against Rutgers. They only scored 10 against Iowa. And then today, their offense, Patterson is showing that he's not that good anymore. I actually thought Patterson would be better than he was last year. But so far, 2018 Patterson has been a lot better than this year's Patterson.
Yeah, where's that Patterson at?
I like the offense where Patterson would fake the handoff to Higdon. Sometimes he would run many yards. They haven't done that at all this year.
We don't have a Higdon.
We don't have a Higdon anymore.
I think Zach Charbonnet or Hassan Haskins could be a Karan Higdon.
Because Charbonnet is only a true freshman. He's gonna get better.
Yeah.
But still.
Hopefully we've got a really good running game in a couple of years. Really hard to stop running.
Our defense cannot let. If they're gonna play like this, then they're gonna play like they against Penn State, and they're gonna let Penn State just go all over Michigan.
They're gonna maul us.
And it's gonna be the same with Notre Dame, and it's gonna be the same with Ohio State.
Well, that's definitely gonna be a mauling. I don't know. maybe we could do okay against Penn State and Notre Dame. Ohio State, that's going to be a mauling.
I don't even care if the Notre Dame and Ohio State game is at home. I mean, I know Michigan has a very tough crowd, is a tough stadium to play in, but if your offense or defense plays like that, you can't win. Like, the defense, just, if you're going to let the defense keep letting them score and score over and over again, you can't do anything on offense, you're not going to win. That's as simple as that. You're not going to win.
I really wish I could say that our defense started doing terrible because they just decided to coast throughout this game. I don't think that's what it is because we were not up big enough.
No.
Because we were only we were only up by 3 touchdowns, so there was no way that our defense just decided to coast. They fell apart.
This performance today was inexcusable. I don't want to hear people saying an excuse, oh, we struggled because at Illinois, they're at home. No, I don't want that excuse. Illinois lost to Eastern Michigan at home.
Illinois is not a good football team.
They're not.
They're not a good football team.
Illinois has not been a good football team in years. Their last big win was when they beat Ohio State in 2007. That was the last good win they had.
That was 12 years ago.
And that was 12 years ago. And that was the year where upsets were happening continuously. That was when Ohio State was number 1 and Illinois somehow beat them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I joked around with Ethan before the game started saying, what if this game's like the 2010 game where we went to triple overtime? You know, in the third quarter, it looked like it was going to be.
Yeah. No, honestly, I thought that we were up 28-25, and we're going to go for a field goal or something. They'll score because before they got the 2-point conversion, I thought they'll probably miss it or something.
Mm-hmm.
They'll score a touchdown. They'll try and they'll get 6 points or whatever. They'll be down 31-29, and try to go for 2 and miss it or something. We win 31-29. That's what I thought was gonna happen.
But then Michigan came away with it at the end, and Michigan, how they played in the fourth quarter should have been like that in the third quarter. Michigan, how they played in the first half is how they should have played in the second half. I don't know why they decided to stop running. But then again, when Michigan did run, then they would fumble. Like, I don't understand how it's so hard to keep the ball. Like, have good ball security. That's a huge problem with Michigan's offense this year.
I know. I like how we're crapping all over Shea Patterson, but he had 3 touchdown passes.
He did have 3 touchdowns,
he had 3 touchdown passes and no picks. But I don't know. The touchdown passes just seemed like they didn't really mean much because they were so close in the red zone. He didn't really throw a whole lot early on.
I'm not saying Patterson's a terrible quarterback. He is good. He's a lot better than Devin Gardner, I'll tell you that much. But it's hard if your quarterback, if he wants to throw it deep, he either overthrows it or underthrows it. And sometimes when he does throw it on target, they don't catch it.
Yeah, I don't understand how we have such a great receiving. Like, they ranked us first in the Big Ten in receivers. They ranked us first in quarterback. They ranked us first on offensive line, defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that we weren't in first place in was running backs. And our running backs, they look pretty good.
I know, man.
It's weird.
They're saying Shea Patterson was the best quarterback in the Big Ten.
It's going to be better than Justin Fields. It's Justin Fields for sure.
Who do you think the worst is? Like the Rutgers quarterback?
Probably Arter Sitkowski.
Well, Sitkowski didn't throw an interception when he played Michigan, which usually when he does it, he does.
Well, it's because he really didn't throw it a whole lot, did he?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Well,
I don't know.
No, every time they try to throw, they get sacked.
Yeah, it's true.
Anyway.
We just stopped them a lot.
So, to wrap this video up...
Yeah, this is a long video.
Michigan wins. You know...
Whatever,
you know...
Another whatever win. Just like the Rutgers game. Iowa, to me, was not a whatever win because they were a pretty good ranked team.
Yeah, but Michigan had so many opportunities to score.
Mm-hmm.
3 interceptions, and they didn't score off any of them.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point even? What's the point of having 3 interceptions and not doing anything with it? And also, it was at home, so it should have been a lot easier. I mean...
This is Michigan football. Michigan football is historically very good.
Yes.
So we expect a lot from them.
The most wins out of any team in history. They got their, 958th win today or something.
That's the most.
That's the most. Ohio State has the second most wins at 912, I think.
They'll catch up at some point, won't they? I don't know. We probably win too many games a year for them to catch up anytime soon.
The last time Michigan was awesome, was 2016. Michigan had a great shot to do great that season, but then they got upset by Iowa.
We
and
were
then they
number
lost to
2
Michigan
going
State.
into that game.
Michigan was number 2 when they played Iowa.
Alabama was the only
Maybe they were
team
number
ranked
3.
higher.
And then after they lost to Iowa, they actually didn't go down in the rankings. And then when they played Ohio State, they're like, okay, the Iowa game doesn't matter. If Michigan wins, then they'll go to the Big Ten Championship. And if they win that, then they'll go to the playoffs. But Michigan loses in double overtime. And like you said in your rant video last year, it doesn't matter if we play in Columbus or in Ann Arbor. It's just how you play. You know?
It shouldn't be an excuse either way. Where you play should not be an excuse. It's the same thing in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm a Patriots fan, and the Patriots had a terrible record on the road last year. They were like 3-5 or something. I was like,
and they ended up winning the Super Bowl.
In which it didn't really matter in the end because we won the Super Bowl. But that shouldn't be an excuse that you're on the road.
Well, it also does help that you guys went undefeated at home, but
yeah, that was the reason. Imagine all of our games were on the road last year.
Dang,
we could have lost a lot more games. But it shouldn't be an excuse no matter what.
That's just like with the Steelers. You know? The Steelers are crap this year. They're 1-4. They're probably going to be 1-5 after tomorrow night. Anyway, so that's the end of the video.
We were all over the place on this one.
All over the place. Mainly Michigan. Whatever win. You know, I don't care. I don't care if you win. I mean, if it was like a 40, if they won 42-3 or something, then that would have been a good win.
Or 42-7,
that's great
or
defense.
Something like that.
But they scored 25 points. Like, once it was the third quarter, I said, if Michigan wins, I don't even care. They're gonna get blown out next week against Penn State. They're gonna get blown out against Notre Dame, and they're gonna get blown out against Ohio State, and that's it. You know, you can't have a defense like that and beat good teams like that. I don't care. If Notre Dame and Ohio State's at home, we're losing those games.
I feel like we're wasting our time this year because even if we do beat Penn State, even if we do beat Michigan State and win the rest of those games, we're still going to lose to Ohio State, and it's going to be another wasted season.
Yes.
No matter what. It's just like last year. Wasted season.
If Michigan wins out and loses to Ohio State, then they'll probably go to a bowl game and lose that and be 10-3 again, which are not going to be 10-3 this year. They're probably going to have like another 8-5 season like 2017.
That seems like that's going to be what it is, though, this year. At the very best, a 10-3 season.
Michigan has 5 wins. They only need one more win to be bowl eligible, which probably won't be until when we play Maryland.
Gosh, we went into this season. I said we were going to go 11-1.
I thought we were going to be 11. Actually, I thought we had a shot at being 12-0 this year. Mm-hmm. I thought we honestly had a shot at going 12-0. But we're going 8-4. We're finishing 8-4. Maybe 7-5, but I don't know how that Michigan State game is going to go. Michigan State doesn't play good against good teams.
Well, neither do we, but...
Well, you got a point, but still. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. And I'll be back tomorrow, or Monday, talking about the Steelers game. And anything you want to say before the video ends?
Nope.
All right, so make sure you check out his channel, Player1Gaming. I'll link it in the description. He made this video similar to me. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.
See ya.